Okay, next step in this process, after all the rafters are installed, is cutting the tails and making them even so that it's ready for the subfascia boards. We did what's called running them wild, which means we didn't measure while we cut and while we did our rafter patterns. We didn't worry about where these stopped because there's always a little bit of change in your rafter lengths. You always got to play with it. So you just run them wild and then we'll come back and we'll get them cut to length. And the rest of the way we've got them all cut. I left a few of them here so I could show you the process. What we did is we used a framing square or a tape measure, and you measure off exactly what your standoff is at each end. So at the far end, at the very outside of the headers and the very last rafters, you measure out and you string a chalk line. You can see I've got a couple of chalk lines popped on the bottom here. You can do it on the bottom or the top. Doesn't matter which one you run with. But what that does is gives you a straight line, and then you just simply come up with your speed square and mark them verticals. So this plumb cut will be, it's called a tail cut, but it's a plumb cut because it goes up straight up and down. It will match whatever your ridge slope is, whether it's a 312 or a 212 or a 612, 812, whatever it might be. So I'm going to get this set up. I'm going to put the pivot point on the bottom of my line here, get my angle correct, and just simply mark that. This gets cut off. Do the same thing down the line. Now this is one of those steps in the process. If you have scaffolding, you can set up 10, 12, 20 feet of scaffold, and then this makes this job really quick. So now I'm going to take my circular saw and cut up these lines. If you're able to get high enough, you can cut down. It kind of keeps some of the sawdust out of your face here. So I'm going to cut 2 of these lines. And if done correctly, you're going to have a nice straight line all the way down. If you mess up and you have one that's like 1/8 of an inch is okay, but you get more 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch that's shorter, you're going to have to go back, re-chalk, and recut everything because you don't want your boards to go in and out because it's a sign of bad craftsmanship. Okay? Next step in the process will be putting up our subfascia boards across here. That'll be the next video.